First, those dramatic pictures coming in from Aligarh in Uttar Pradesh, where protesters have clashed with the police.
An angry crowd resorted to stone pelting after a 6-year-old was allegedly raped and murdered. The police lathicharged the protesters to disperse them. A 6-year-old girl went missing since this morning and her body was found tragically in a garbage dump. Her family claims that she was raped before being strangled to death.
कुछ स्थानीय लोग और उनके साथ मिलकर असामाजिक तत्वों ने पुलिस और प्रशासनिक अधिकारियों के ऊपर पथराव किया, तो उनको बार बार समझाने पर वो लोग समझ नहीं पाए, तो पुलिस को हल्का बल प्रयोग करना पड़ा। इसमें कुछ लोग द्वारा ये आरोपित किया गया है कि कुछ महिलाओं के साथ पुलिस ने गलत व्यवहार किया। इस प्रकरण में जांच के लिए आदेश दे दिया गया है और जांच करके कोई भी पुलिस अधिकारी कर्मचारी यदि दोषी पाया जाता है उनके विरुद्ध कार्रवाई होगी।
All right, as we look at those visuals, shocking indeed. Let's get in a word from CNN IBN's Maria Shakil joining us on the phone line for more on that. Maria, the visuals in itself are shocking. Police also targeting women and children in trying to control that crowd.
That's right, Arunoday, and it's really shocking, as you said. But now, as we know that the crowd has dispersed, what we have been told by the locals is that what really prompted this protest was when the body of the 6-year-old who was kidnapped last evening was recovered today in the morning. And after that, the family and the locals and her neighbors started protesting because the police refused to register the FIR. What we have been told is that hundreds of protesters gathered around this police station in Aligarh, which is called Banna Devi, and then they started pelting stones. That is the police version. However, the locals are saying, and these pictures are speaking for themselves, that the amount of police brutality and the way the police is handling the protesters is clearly showing that they could have clearly maintained some kind of restraint, which has not happened. And we are told that there are no serious injuries as far as brickbatting and some kind of lathi charge that was resorted to by the police is concerned. But yes, the UP police has ordered investigation and interrogation into this particular incident, and definitely shocking and another reflection of perhaps the deteriorating law and order situation in the state.
So what the locals are saying, that first there was police apathy when they refused to file a complaint about that missing girl, and then the brutality that is that can be seen in these pictures coming out of Aligarh. Have they finally registered again a case? The little girl, of course, we know, was found murdered in a garbage dump.
That's right, Falki. We have been told that the police has registered the complaint, and what really prompted this kind of action by the locals was that they started gathering only when they realized that the police had failed to register the FIR because the body of the 6-year-old girl was recovered in the morning. The family alleges that the police could have registered the FIR, but they said that they were really little insensitive towards the way the family, and post that the the numbers started swelling, and this incident took place at the Aligarh Delhi Grand Trunk Road, if we could just tell to our viewers. And what's shocking is the image that you can see. This is a clear image of police pushing the women on the streets. They are also resorting to some kind of lathi charge on the women particularly, which the UP police perhaps could have restrained, which they have not.
That's right, Maria. In fact, I think that's the point that needs to be stressed upon it as well. This is not the first time we've seen the police resort to such action. There's no presence of women police constables, something that is mandatory when something like this happens, and even the pictures that we're seeing of little girls also being pushed around by policemen, beaten up by policemen, and that old lady there being pushed by policemen as well.
That's right, Arunoday. These are really shocking images, perhaps a clear reflection of how the UP police is operating over the last few months. We have seen them being very brutal in other incidents as well. They could have offered restraint as far as the numbers were concerned, because we are told that there was certain firing that was done in the air as well to disperse the mob. And it was only after that they failed to disperse the mob that they started this kind of lathi charge. But clearly, as you said, that there are men constables dealing with women, trying to push them and really pushing them on the floor. Perhaps these are images that would be shown to Akhilesh Yadav himself. What he could have done and what his police could have done is a clear reflection of the police brutality, a clear shamelessness, we would say, on the part of UP police.
Are senior officials now at least admitting that this was not the way to handle a situation like this?
That's right, Palki. We heard from the police officer. He's saying that though he's trying to defend the action, they're saying that they tried to, that was only because the agitating mob tried to attack the police team, that they got provoked, and that they had not used any kind of force. That is the version of the DIG, Mr. Prakash. But clearly, if you look at these images and they are speaking for themselves, he has also said that there is an allegation that there are some attacks against women by police. They are saying that they are looking into it, but they are looking exactly as to what really was the reason for this kind of provocation.
Right, and Maria, of course, these visuals are that we are showing are from a while back. They are not live pictures. Just clarify for us that whether things have now come under control and everything is calm right now.
That's right, Aruna. There, the crowd has dispersed. The situation on this particular the place that is called Banna Devi Thana in Aligarh is under control. We are told that the case has been registered. And so far as injuries are concerned, the police has confirmed to us that there are no serious injuries to anyone during this brick-batting and subsequent lathicharge that had happened. But clearly, the allegation of rape, the police is also saying, would be confirmed after the post-mortem is conducted, which has not been done so far. And also, an important is that the police has that an interrogation has been ordered into this particular incident by the UP government.
Joining us on the phone line is social activist Ranjana Kumari. Ms. Kumari, as you see these pictures playing out on CNN IBN this evening, we've talked at length about the sensitivity that needs to be there. We've talked at length about how the police needs to handle situations like these. A little girl goes missing. She's raped allegedly, murdered and dumped in a garbage dump. And this is how the police treat her family and those people who've been demanding justice for her. Your first reactions?
Well, this is unbelievable. It is shocking that the police, it is supposed to protect people. People go to police to seek justice. They have become like an inhuman, insensitive, brute force in UP. One after the other incidents have happened in UP. Every time police is behaving the way it is behaving, how can you even call a senior officer of the police is beating a woman? What is he trying to prove? What is he trying to prove? His power? Is he trying to prove that he's a man who can beat a woman? A person who has come, who's aggrieved, needs protection, needs some sympathy, needs to be reassurance that the case will be investigated. A child is dead and mother is getting beaten up by the police. Are we in a country which is a democracy? Are we in a country where we promise our people that we will be providing protection? Minimum a state can do is to provide protection to the citizen. And what is UP state doing? One after the other, they have let large, at large this whole force, which is supposed to be police force, as a brute force in the state.
And ma'am, what's worse is that it's not just the manner in which the protests were handled. As we can see, brute force, there you go. That's another shocking visual that again continues to haunt one and all. But the fact that they couldn't handle the case of the missing girl either, and that's where the lack of faith begins in the police force.
Then this is what it is. When the poor people go to report, loss of their children and children have disappeared, what is happening? Police doesn't even take it seriously. They don't even want to register the case, and they should know there is section 166A now. They will be booked for willfully neglecting their duty, and they can go to jail for 2 years. And I think this particular officer who is beating the mother of the girl, Mr. Mishra, there should be an FIR against him. We don't want to hear from UP that they have suspended some 2 constables. That's what they are doing. Every time they are terrorizing people, they are brutalizing people, and they are suspending 1 or 2 constables. This is not going to work. Senior police officer will have to take responsibility of letting large and lose this kind of a brute force on people.
But look at the reactions that are coming from senior police officials, madam. The DIG of the Aligarh division is saying that this action was needed to control the crowd, and the lathi charge and the brutality that we've seen, he says, has caused no major injuries to the protesters. That is his justification. What hope do these people have?
No, this is absolutely unacceptable. He is just trying to justify the brutality of his force. He is not able to put any kind of control, any sensitivity, any kind of responsibility for protection of law and order on his force, and that is why he is trying to protect his people. They have no business to beat people. If a child is lost, 6-year-old daughter is lost and she's raped and killed and thrown in the pond of water, I mean, how can he even justify what these people are doing? Didn't they have any kind of sympathy, any empathy with the people to be able to tell them that, look, here we are, we will investigate no stone will be left unturned, we will nab the culprit. Instead of doing all that, they are beating first the people, and now they are saying that they have to control the crowd. Why did they create the condition where such a situation emerged? Because of their own neglect, because of their own irresponsible behavior.
Right, Ms. Ranjana Kumari, thanks very much. Also joining us is the Congress leader from Uttar Pradesh, Rita Bahuguna Joshi. Ms. Joshi, much has been said about the deteriorating law and order situation in Uttar Pradesh, but now these pictures are truly shocking. First, the police failed to prevent what happened to that little girl, and this is the way they dealt with the protesters.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, your first reactions?
Well, it's very shocking and it's most condemnable, and this is not the first time in the past 14 months, ever since this new government came in. The things are worsening, and the thanas and these police stations have really become centers of fear for the people. Those who go for redressal, those who go for filing their complaints, they are ill-treated, they are killed. There was a death yesterday, as you know, in a police station in Lucknow, and here we find that the women and children have been badly beaten up by the police because they wanted to file a complaint. This is really shocking, and I think the government should feel ashamed. The way the crime situation is becoming uncontrollable in UP, and they're not being able to handle even such small issues. If they have to use lathicharge, if they have to kick women and beat children, I think this is most reprehensible, and it should be condemned all around.
But ma'am, you feel that the political establishment across party lines also must take the blame. It just so happens that currently in power is the Akhilesh Yadav government, but we've not seen too much of a difference when any other government is in power either.
No, it's true. In the last 10 years, if you will notice, the Samajwadi and the Bahujan Samaj Party and again Samajwadi Party, these governments in the past 10 years, one after the other, have really you could say the situation has become worse and it's worsening. People have lost faith in the government, especially in the police force, and the police seems to be most unbridled. They are unleashing all sorts of atrocities on the people. People are afraid of filing complaints. I mean, where does the state go? This is for the Home Minister, who is our Chief Minister as well, to take serious note of.
Right.
And still they're not taking serious note, the things are worsening.
Unfortunately, crimes against women is not restricted to Uttar Pradesh. This is a problem that parties and governments across the country need to deal with. The UPCC Chief Rita Bahuguna Joshi, thanks very much for joining us. We've also heard from the ADG Law and Order of Uttar Pradesh, Arun Kumar. He says a probe has been ordered into what happened in Aligarh.
ये 3:30 बजे लड़की गायब होती है, सुबह 5 बजे उसकी बॉडी मिलती है, 7 बजे ये डिमांड होती है कि आप जो अभियुक्त हैं वो पकड़े जाने चाहिए और बलात्कार होना चाहिए, और उसके बाद पुलिस पर वो होता है। तो 2 घंटा के अंदर में कहीं की पुलिस अर्ली मॉर्निंग कैसे किसी को ढूंढ पाएगी? ये जो विजुअल्स चल रहे हैं जिस पर कि महिलाओं पर लाठी चलाने की बात है, इस पूरे घटनाक्रम में कि जाम जो हुआ पुलिस ने जो बल प्रयोग किया, इन सारे एस्पेक्ट्स को जो है के बारे में जांच करेंगे।